So that's one way of generating fiber mesh. There's another way, a better way. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use my morph target to generate fibers. So let's go to morph target. What morph target does is morph target stores the state of a mesh. All right, so at its active subdivision. So right now we're at 77,000 polys. I'm going to click on store morph target. So now this state of the mesh that it was in right now is permanently, well, it's cached out into this feature. Now what I can do is I can do whatever the heck I want to this surface, and I'm going to express the volume that I want and the feathers I want in this area sculpturally. So I'm just pulling out what I want in the silhouette. I think he's looking a little too barrel-chested. Let's bring that back. All right, now let's see. Let's switch here. Don't have much going on in the chest. You know, I am going to go a little bit more in the chest. And maybe I want like a little, I don't know, mohawk or something coming down here. So I'm just going to pull that out. Let's get a little lift towards the base of the neck. In between here. Let's not make it quite so clean. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to click on switch. It's going to go back to the original state of the mesh. Actually, it looks like it didn't. Did I accidentally hit switch there? Let's try that one more time because it shouldn't have done that. All right, let's delete morph target, store morph target. All right, you'll notice that when I go up my subdivision, the morph target disappears. I have to go back down to 77,000 to have it show up. All right, so one more time. Let's just do this here. For the sake of the demo. There we go. All right, now let's go back over to the morph target slider. I can use this to blend in between the two modes. And this is primarily what it's used for, is for blending between modes, working with layers. This is used for working with layers. I used it with you guys in some of the silhouette work. So sorry if I belabored the explanation here again, but let me go ahead and switch back to our original state. Let's go to Fidermesh. Let's turn on preview. The fibers are going to show up everywhere. It's going to save my settings from the last time for color and all that sort of stuff, right? But let's turn on morph target guided. So now my feathers are only protruding as much as my silhouette is allowing, right? And it's placing those fibers. And let's go ahead and increase the density so we can see it more clearly. Let's adjust our gravity so they're laying the right way. Right, so now our morph target is guiding the shape of our feathers. And this is honestly what I'm looking for more so than what I had in the first place, is something more along this lines. It's something to complement my my sculpture, right? It's something to complement that. And I'll use the same color scheme in my texture when I paint it, you know, to match the feathers so that everything is gelling together. What do you guys think? Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Now, to get this to work inside of Maya, so that you're not, or you want to take this into Marmoset, you have to actually convert it into geometry. Because right now, let me go ahead and click Accept. Let's take off Solo Mode and let's turn off our original subtool. Here we go. So we just have this. So you're not stuck with this, by the way. And actually, I've jumped ahead in talking about exporting. So let me talk about just sculpting. Right. So I'm gonna let's take my body mesh back up so I can see my sculptural detail. Let's see how dense this is. This is 30,000 polys. This is way too dense. I probably want to maybe do half the amount of fibers here. And I can reduce that geometry by doing less fibers, doing like 30,000 is crazy. Let me do this one more time. That's way too crazy. It's way too crazy. Crazy fiber mesh. All right. Preview. Let's go to morph target guided. Oh, lost my morph target. Let's step down to 77,000. And I should get that morph target button back. There we go. Morph target guided. And now, let's take this down. It's just so I have a few feathers poking out. And let's get a good default position. There we go. I'm going to click on Accept. That's more along the lines of what I want. 2,000 polys. It's just something to accent my character. Is it possible to make the feathers just one face polygon? Of course. Here, I'll show you right now. Let's step up in our subdivisions, or let's step up in our subtools. I'm going to click on Preview, go to Segments, and make them one, right? And this is what we get. Doesn't look too pretty though, right? So you would probably have to go through and re-UV these, just because ZBrush doesn't do too well with like one face objects. Two probably might, well, two's still a little wonky. Let's try reapplying that. Nope, still not great. So yeah, you could do it as a one or two segment piece. I mean, and honestly, I guess when you're looking at it from here, that little bit of warping in the texture isn't that big of a deal, you know. And you'll want to come in and make sure that like things like this, where you have planes crossing over each other, that sort of stuff is fixed. But I think that's because I have a second layer. Yeah, there we go. But even so, some of these fibers might be stacked on top of each other, overlapping. You want to watch for that. But I think this is a nice complement to good sculptural feathers, which I don't have yet. So Fidermesh and Accept to create my subtool. There we go. Then the last thing I want to show you with fibers, let's turn back on the body, is the fact that you're not stuck with the position they're in. You do have a series of brushes called the grooming brushes. Ones that I kind of lean on are groom hair short, groom hair toss, groom lengthen. So the groom lengthen will actually elongate the fiber. And let's see how well it does on these, right? So I can elongate these feathers. Groom hair toss or groom hair short. Both of these are used for positioning the fibers. And I've never used them on something so light as this, so it's interesting to see how they're treating the fibers. But if you notice, there's hidden fibers that I'm pulling out right now. Let's try groom hair toss. Anywhere where I see these fibers underneath the surface here, I'm going to try and pull those up, or I'm going to end up deleting them later on.